So in this video, I'm going to talk about why you should embrace your strong personality, right? So what it means to have a strong personality. A strong personality means that you are like a thoughtful humanitarian who has a sense of fairness. You know what is equal, what is equitable and just, and you just refuse to stay silent if you or someone is being disrespected, exploited, mistreated, or just treated inconsiderably. You are willing and brave to express your disapproval and show that you refuse to accept any unjust behavior. That is, you just show that it's not okay, you speak up. And it basically comes down to you believing that everybody has value and your needs and your ideas and your perspectives and your preferences can be of use. It's worthwhile and it's meaningful, and you just want to share them with others so you can make everybody's life better, and that you can experience more harmony in this world, in this life. So it's, you are confident, you are determined, and you are just not easily influenced by others. So that's just like having a strong personality. And in this video, I'm encouraging you to embrace your strong personality. And signs that you have a strong personality would be that you don't shy away from confrontation and conflict. When you have something important you want to express, or you felt dissatisfied or disrespected or treated unfairly by someone's behavior towards you or towards someone else, you know it's better to get it out in the open so it can be resolved, so it would less likely happen again. Even though you know confronting them and speaking up would cause tension, it might cause hurt feelings, and it might cause argument, you let people know that you would not be taken advantage of, and you just make it clear when other people behavior or their actions or their words that was said towards you hurt you or disrespected you in some way, right? So you don't fear confrontation, you don't fear conflict. You just want to stand up for yourself. You want to stand up for your rights and the rights of other people who may be exploited around you. And you don't let the possibility of conflict come in the way or stop you from speaking up. With a strong personality, you see that conflict can be constructive, right? You know from experience, when you discuss your disappointments or you discuss your dissatisfaction or you talk about your disagreements or your viewpoints that might be different from others, or you speak about your concern, this can lead to problems being resolved, and it can help also improve personal and professional relationships, right? So yes, sometimes relationships can be destroyed through conflict. Some people say things out of reaction that they don't mean. Feelings can get hurt. People may become aggressive and all of this during conflict and confrontation, but in the end, there's often innovative solutions could arise from this conflict, especially in the workplace where there's always a need for change and growth and solution and upgrading. Conflict could be a good thing. Right? There are many benefits of conflict, right? So when conflict come up, know that you could practice to communicate effectively with conflict, because when you are going to confront someone, you will need to control yourself, and you need to have patience, and you need to have intelligence in how you're going to confront them, right? You will learn to remain calm, and you will see that when you confront someone, you need to be real and you need to be authentic. So you would eventually just become a better communicator, right? Conflict allows you to differentiate yourself. by speaking your truth, speaking your perspective clearly as possible, while you're also remaining engaged with those who believe different from you. Right? So conflict is beneficial. It leads to solution, and I think that is the most important. That is the most beneficial of confronting and benefits of conflict is that it leads to solution. There are many structures and different agreements, especially in the workplace, that are no longer working, and sometimes in order for things to be better and for things to be new, or conflict needs to come into play, right? Conflict causes different situations to be analyzed, to be discussed, and to be negotiated. Conflict leads to reinvention. Conflict leads to innovations and solving problems. Conflict also provides an opportunity to verbalize your needs and your feelings, which can provide a chance for your needs to get met, and people could see how you have been affected or how you are affected in a certain situation. You should not be afraid to take stand on any issues. Just make sure that you're not aggressive and you're not a pushover. Confrontation and speaking up will make you more resilient and less fearful when you're asking for what you need, and it helps people to know where you stand and your limits. So conflict could be a good thing. Sometimes conflict come up, and in my mind I'm like, yes, not that I love conflict or I'm going to look for conflict, but I know when conflict arises, there's a possibility that people are going to look for a solution and things are going to change and it's going to be better. So if you have a strong personality, that means other people look at you to lead. Other people look at you as a leader. You will make a good leader with your strong personality because you are frank, you are fearless, you are decisive, and you are willing to speak your mind. People will rely on you to guide them and to make quick decisions. Your companions and your colleagues, they will believe that maybe you have experienced this certain difficult situation before and that you will make a quick decision and it will be the best one. When you have a strong personality, you never want to let anyone down. Even if you do not know the answer or you do not know the way out, you always try to seek help and get everyone's opinion, and you brainstorm and you arrive to the best solution, right? You will make a good leader with your strong personality because you're not afraid of difficult situations, you're not afraid of challenges, you actually like challenges, you want to make the environment a better place. You don't want to disappoint your family, your friends, your boss, your co-workers, right? And people trust you because you communicate openly and you are honest, right? So next way to know if you have a strong personality is that you are a perfectionist. And being a perfectionist could it's most of the time it's looked at as a bad thing, but there are advantages of being a perfectionist. So you get things done with your strong personality. You're probably a perfectionist and you get things done. You have a high level of perseverance. You push through difficult periods. You try to get things done on time. You try to get things done perfectly, and more than likely you would reach your goals in life. Being a perfectionist can be good because you always strive to be the best version of yourself. You make sure you make use of your talent, of your potential, and you're not lazy and you put the work in. You don't let your talent and your potential go to waste. If you're a perfectionist, you have high standards. Your friends, who you date, who you have sex with, where you eat, where you hang out, who you spend time with, all of this have high standards if you have a strong personality, if you are a perfectionist, right? You are willing to work long hours. You sacrifice leisure time to reach your goals. You have drive. You outdo others because you just want to deliver the best results, and this increases your chance of being promoted at work. So being a perfectionist is like you could stay motivated to difficult periods. You're always ambitious. You're setting goals for yourself. You're achieving your goals, and you usually have good quality work, especially in school or at work and you help people with their stuff, then people value you and they value what you have done for them, and then your social rank could increase because your peers see that you know what you're doing, you can help them. And maybe you did so well in school that you're going to a good college, and then you finally get a job and it's a high paying job and you become successful, right? And being a perfectionist means that you pay attention to details, you see all the small mistakes, you see potential problems, you make, most of the time your work is high quality work. But there are disadvantages of being a perfectionist, and we also need to take that into consideration, because being a perfectionist can also lead to social isolation, because you work too long, you work long hours, you forget your hobbies, you don't work on your passion, you lose your friends, you lose your connections that you have built, and they could lead to mental issues in the long run. And the other disadvantage is that the minor things and small issues could just affect your mood really easily, and that could make you become unproductive. You focus too much on the small issues instead of the big problem, or solving the bigger problem. Small things just make you upset and you worry too much about the minor things. You should focus more on the big problems, right? And sometimes when you're a perfectionist, you realize that you're not perfect, and this could lead to you feeling unhappy because sometimes it's just not achievable, and that could lead to sadness. Also, if you're a perfectionist, people could get really annoyed with you because you might criticize people a lot, and it's not that you have bad intentions for them, you just want them to be better, but people just would be annoyed with you because you keep calling out their flaws, and that could be really annoying, right? And there are more disadvantages of being a perfectionist. I need to mention the disadvantages because, well, you need to balance, right? So you could, when you're a perfectionist, you feel this unnecessary pressure to get things done perfectly. You actually put this pressure on yourself. It's not coming from anybody else. You always want things to be the best way possible. This could cause stress, and it could cause frustration. And you beat yourself up when you make a mistake, and it leads to higher levels of frustration. Sometimes you put so much pressure on yourself to get things done on time, to get things done perfect, and you are the only one who might care about this, right? And sometimes you forget about what's important and you don't see the big picture, or you forget about getting the project done and you focus too much on the small details, right? And being a perfectionist could also, as I mentioned, lead to sadness. It could lead to desperation and depression, because sometimes you want too much, you want things to be perfect, and when you realize that it's not possible, you feel a lot of strong negative emotions. Sometimes you deprive yourself of sleep because you want too many things and you want so much things to get done and on time. So there's disadvantages of being a perfectionist, but I still have to mention them. But sometimes when we hear you're a perfectionist, we always think that it's bad, right? So just to show you the advantages and the disadvantages. If you have a strong personality, you don't need a lot of attention and validation, and that could be a good thing, because yes, it feels good to be praised, it feels good to have your feelings affirmed, it feels good to be appreciated and told that you did a good job and all of that. It's normal to want validation from your parents, from your boss, from your friends, from your romantic partner, or whatever. But with a strong personality, you encourage yourself. You know your strengths. You acknowledge your success, your progress, and your effort. You prioritize your needs. You meet your goals. You are proud of yourself. You tell yourself good job before anybody tells you good job. You feel proud of yourself when you achieve your goals, right? And this is a good thing, because I read somewhere before online, I can't remember, but that's when you're not acknowledged, especially at work, it could lead to burnout and exhaustion. And with your strong personality, even if maybe your boss don't acknowledge you or other coworkers don't acknowledge your work, you have already told yourself good job, and that is a good thing. And that is why I'm saying having a strong personality could be a good thing, and you should embrace this, right? So if you have a strong personality, you call people out on their BS, you call people out on their bullshit, you are attuned at spotting bullshit, you are attentive when people might be like disclosing something to you or trying to negotiate something with you. You could spot some if they are on bullshit. You speak up when their story is not adding up. You stop them in their tracks if they're lying. You notice if someone is trying to trick you, trying to scam you, trying to persuade you into something that will not benefit you. You call them out, and you indicate when you think something is incorrect, and you do this respectfully. And with a strong personality, you also falsely you think in your mind that this could be an error, this could be an honest mistake, but then you are so attentive and you are so conscious that you will call them out with respect, obviously. So if you have a strong personality, that means you learn from your mistakes. You understand that when you don't learn from your mistakes, you inflict unnecessary stress on yourself and others. You may lose confidence in yourself, and people might also lose trust in you when you do not learn from your mistakes. With a strong personality, you own up to your mistakes, you admit when you're wrong, you take ownership for it, and you also apologize when others are involved, right? So you learn your lesson, you change your behavior for better, you change your habit, you avoid sabotaging yourself in the future, right? So those are just some characteristics of having a strong personality. And if you have a strong personality, I'm just showing you in this video that it is a good thing and you should embrace it. But there are some disadvantages when you have a strong personality. When you have a strong personality, you may be afraid, or you tend not to show your weaknesses. And when you're not vulnerable, it's kind of difficult, or you have less opportunity to build deeper and more meaningful connections with people, right? So most people, they appreciate when like you are willing to show that you're vulnerable, and and when you value authenticity. When you embrace your weakness and you share your true self, other people start to feel comfortable with you, and they start to show their weaknesses with you. People start to open up to you and share their weaknesses as well, and this would allow you to build stronger relationships and more meaningful relationships. But with a strong personality, you tend not to show weakness, you tend not to be vulnerable, you tend not to want to admit that you might not know, or you do not know how to do something, or you might not know the answer. So that could be a disadvantage, where you would not really make meaningful connections with other people. With a strong personality, you could become a control freak, and you could be too bossy sometimes, and that could really put people off and to shy away from you. With a strong personality, if there are other people with there's other strong characters around, and other people with strong personality, you would tend to clash with them, and that could cause conflict, right? People also might be intimidated by you and shy away from you just because of your strong personality. And one of the last disadvantages of having a strong personality is that you will become really exhausted and burnt out, having to be strong all the time. And most of this pressure is coming from your own self to be perfect, to not give up, and to be strong all the time. And that could be really exhausting because you're not perfect, and sometimes you will make a mistake. So basically, having a strong personality, if you have that, it's a good thing. You should embrace it. There are many advantages. You should not shy away from conflict. You should not shy away from confrontation. If you're doing this, you should continue. Conflict have many benefits, as I mentioned before. It leads to solutions, it leads to resolution. And yes, if you're people said that you are perfectionist. There are some good things about that. You have high standards, you work long hours, you are determined, you get things done, and so on and so forth. So that is um that is having a strong personality. It's a good thing. I think you should embrace it. The only problem is sometimes when you meet somebody of the same strong character with you, are it could be a problem, like if you're in a romantic relationship and both of you have strong personalities, strong characteristics, that could cause conflict and it might not really work. And if you are with someone and you have a strong personality and they have a strong personality, you might need to know how to turn it off or lower it. But I believe having a strong personality is a good thing, especially in your workplace, and you should not shy from conflict. Conflict could be really good. Sometimes it helps to resolve problems. So that is just telling you to embrace your strong personality. If you're a perfectionist, just gauge with it. And that's all I have for this video, and see you in the next video. If you like this content, you could hit the like button and subscribe if you want to, and see you soon.